Hi guys, welcome, and we are making another video. We are going to a nice place, and today I'd like to talk about the cars and compare the situation about the cars in Germany to another countries, to show you difference, to show you how it looks, to show you many things. What maybe you know, maybe you don't know, I don't know. As you may see, I've changed my sunglasses to standard glasses, prescription glasses, and we're just going. Driver license. To drive a car here, you need, as in many places in the world, you need a driver license. But it's not necessary to have a German driver license. You can have driver license from many other places. You can have a German driver license. You can have a driver license from any other European states. If you have a driver license from another European states, it's not necessary to change it to a German driver license at all. It's not necessary. You can do this, but it's not necessary. If you want to do this, you only go to a local roadhouse, local office. You say that you want to change your European driver license from another European state, and then you will change to German. You will receive. You will have to fill the form, pay some charge, some fee for changing your license. After the 10 to 14 days, you will go again to that. You have to go again to that office to receive your driver license, and you will put your original license to the deposit in that office. That's simple, but it's not necessary. It's a good idea if you want to spend more time in Germany, because a driver license which is issued in Germany, you can use in machines for automatic, when you want to buy a beer or you want to buy cigarettes in an automatic machine. Driver license is one of the documents you can use for age verification, but it has to be issued in Germany, so it's a nice idea. The nice thing is when you lost your driver license, you can lost it. It can be stolen. If it's issued here, it will be very easy to make another one, make a duplicate, make another license. So that's so easy. But it's not necessary if you have from another European state driver license. If you have a driver license from outside Europe, that's officially, if you want to stay longer in Germany, you have to change your driver license to a local one. But if you will not say anyone, and you will not I have a license from abroad, I spent 2 years here and I didn't change. Change it. If you will not say anyone, if you will not demonstrate that's a fact, there will be no problem. Absolutely no problem. And you can use an original driver license. If you want to stay as a tourist for some time, you don't have to make anything. You can use a local driver license. It doesn't matter from which place in the world it is. There are some limits that from some countries in official document is written that you should have international driver license. For example, if you have a driver license from the US, you should have an international driver license to drive in Germany, but that's in law. In normal life, you can use your local state driver license. For example, I know that is no problem with a driver license from Florida. It's not a problem, and I think that from other US states it's also not a problem. So you can use your license, and it's really easy. What about our cars? I will say about European registration plates, because I think that's not really common to take a car from Australia or Argentina to Europe. I will talk about European registration plates. And there are two things. And this, of course, a little complicated. As everything here in Germany, you have to know some things to understand the situation. But I'm gonna tell you part by part. If you have a car which is registered in another state of Germany. For example, you live in Berlin, but you have a car registered in Hessen, in Sachsen-Anhalt, Niedersachsen, Mecklenburg-Vorpommern, Thuringen, or anywhere else. You don't have to change a plate. It's not necessary. You can, but it's not necessary for you to change a plate. You can use plate from your city. It's simple. If you have a drive, if your car is registered in another European state, for example, you live in Germany, but your car is registered in Spain, in Czech Republic, in France, or somewhere else, up to some time, I don't remember how long, it's 3 or 6 months, but I don't remember now, so please check it. To some time you don't have to do anything. You can drive with your car, and you even don't need international insurance, because your domestic insurance is valid in the whole European Union. So that's really nice. You don't need international insurance. But after 3 or 6 months, you will have to pay road tax to legally use that car in Germany longer. You don't have to change places to a German, but you have to pay a road tax, and it can be checked, but it's a long way. Some people pay the road tax, some people doesn't pay. It's normal. But you can change a registration plate to a German. You will need to make a special, go through a special procedure, which is called inter-European buying. It's some kind of, it's not import. It's something similar to import, but inside European Union. And it's really easy. But you will need to contact your sole department, custom office, and talk with them, and go through the whole procedure how to do this. Why it's a good idea? Sometimes you don't have time to use cars from other European states. What I'm talking about, if your car is older than 3 years, for example 5 years, if it's older, you will need from time to time to go to a special Prüfstelle, a special car official car Werkstatt, where your registration will be extended to another year or two, to another period. And that's the reason that, for example, if you have a car from Poland and it's older after 5 years, you will need to extend your registration. Go to a local workshop. Local official workshop is I don't know what it's called in other European countries, but in Germany it's Prüfstelle, and it's if you say that you want to go with your car to a Prüfstelle, everybody will know what you want to say. So that's really simple. And if your car is from abroad, you will have to go to that country, and in that country make the stamp in the documents and exchange it, and extend the validity of registration to a next period. If your car is older than 7 or 8 years, you will have to do this every year. Once a year you have to go, up to one day, special day. Sometimes you want to go somewhere, for example to Spain, but not at that perfect time to extend it, and that's a problem. And why many people use cars from registered in another European states? Why? Because sometimes it's much cheaper, because insurance is much lower. For example, it can be lower 4 or 5 times. So here you pay, for example, that amount, and in other countries you will pay only that amount, and you will save some money. And it's related with a situation in your family. For example, if you have someone who can go with your car and extend the registration place to next year, it's not a problem. You will save some money, even if you know the cost about going there, some gift for that person, and who will go there. But if you don't have time, sometimes it's cheaper to pay a higher insurance. It all depends where it is, what it is, you know how it is. And here in Germany we have two some kind of tests to extend your registration. First is called Hauptuntersuchung. Hauptuntersuchung is a general test for your car. It's something like MOT, MOT. Like MOT in UK, something like other tests in other countries. It's the general test of a car. And the second test is Abgasuntersuchung, called sometimes ASU, and sometimes for Hauptuntersuchung people say it's stiff, and for Abgas says that it's ASU, something like that. But Abgasuntersuchung is a smoke test. It's a test for emission, and it's a second test. On some registration plates in Germany, you can see that there's a sticker of a land of a member state, and at the bottom and at the top is a sticker from the exam, from the test. And you can see that on the one plate it's the bottom is the same on the front and back plate. The test is another test. On the one plate we have sticker for Hauptuntersuchung, on the second for Abgasuntersuchung. And this date. So even if your car is parked and someone will want to check, for example, police can check in documents in a computer database date of the registration, but sometimes they can check just looking on a car, and it's simple. But on some car you don't see that sticker. It means that it's on electronic database, computer database, and it's not necessary to put it on a place. It depends. The most important thing, that's later. The next thing is if your car is registered outside European Union. That's very, very important to register it in European Union if you want to stay with that car longer. Of course, there are some exceptions, and you always should ask. You should always ask your KFZ or your KFZ, your local office. Sorry, but there's a taxi, a cab just behind, and I don't want to block the road because I'm driving and talking as always. Yeah. If you want to know where we are, we're at the Rottenstrasse in Berlin Mitte. But that's another thing. Yeah. So if you have a car with a place from outside European Union, just ask that KFZ for your situation. For example, if you are a student from, for example, Turkey. I was just looking for a country in Europe which is not in the European Union. This is not easy to find that kind of country. For example, this is of course a country in the European area which are not in the European Union, for example Norway or Switzerland. But it's not that thing. I was thinking about a country outside. So for example, you have a car registered in Turkey and you want to use it in Germany, just ask, because in some situation, if you are working on a special kind of visa, you are a student or something like that, you may be allowed to don't change the plates. On the other way, you will have to change the plates. Just ask, because it's really, really complicated, and I don't want to talk about it now, because it will be a 3-hour vlog about that. Always ask if you have a car from outside European Union with a plate, the plate from outside the European Union. Always ask for the situation in KFZ. KFZ, ask them. That's all. That's all. But the most important thing about the car, yeah, now I'll talk about the most important thing. Yeah, it doesn't matter if is it your car registered in Germany, is your car registered in other state of the European Union, or your car is registered from in a country outside the European Union. It doesn't matter. If you want to go to a city center, to a downtown in almost any city in Germany, almost any, you will need to have a special green sticker on your car. Yeah, and that sticker means that your car means a special emission norms. In Europe, that norm have a number, euro and number, and for a gasoline engines, that's Euro 1 or better, and for diesel engine it's Euro 4 or better, which means that a car with a petrol engine should be no older, and the manufacture date of the car should be no earlier than 1993 for a petrol, and 2006 for diesel. If a car which was built before 2006 and it has diesel engine, you will not have the sticker, then you will not be allowed to go to a city center. There are some exceptions from that. First exception is if your car meet that criteria of Euro 4. It can be built earlier. For example, S-Class and S-Class and E-Class Mercedes has from 2002 or 2003 year this special filter which allows to go to a city center in Germany. But you have to check it, and to get that sticker to your car, you will need to prove that your car are from that year, or you are qualified for Euro 4 emission, so or better. So that's very, very, very important. And the next thing is that even if you don't have, if it's a classic car, historic car, it will be there will be exemption from that rule, but you need to have a document that your car is historic, a special document. And the next thing is that you can always buy an exception. For example, you have a car with Euro 3 or Euro 2 emission, or even older, from 1980s, and it's a diesel, and you have a problem because you want to go with that car to a city center in Germany. You can buy an exemption, but that exception will be really, really expensive. So just check your emission status. If your car doesn't meet that is not qualifying for enter, just park your car outside the city center and go using public transport like S-Bahn, U-Bahn or something like that. And don't risk, because if you will go to a city center without that green sticker, you can have a really big problem. So please don't do this. Just check. Diesel 2006 and newer, or Euro 4. Gasoline engine 1993 or newer, or Euro 1. And that's all. If you meet the criteria, you can order using internet that sticker, and it will be sent to your address. For example, there's a special website that called youngadults.pl, when you can order that sticker. It's not very expensive, and it will be sent to your address, so you can put it on your car before you will enter city. And of course, you can always buy the sticker in Germany. You have to go to a Prüfstelle, and at Prüfstelle you can buy that sticker. It's not very expensive. I remember when I was making it, it was about €5 for German registration plates and €10 for other registration plates. It was something like that. But it's very, very simple. And do this because it's important. What about driving? remember some things. There are two very, very important things. First thing is about the speed limit. And the problem is that it's that's in kilometer per hour, it's not in mile per hour, and that's really, really hard because, for example, I'm more familiar with mile per hour, and it's written in kilometer per hour, so it's a little harder. But remember that in a city, it's if there's no sign, it's the limit 50 km per hour. On a highway inside the city, there will be always a sign, but if there's no sign, there's no speed limit. So 50 km in a city. On a normal road, standard road outside of the city, outside of the urban area, outside of the residential areas, outside of the city, that's 100 km per hour. And on a highway where is no sign of a limit, there are no speed limit. So on a highway you can drive as fast as you want. It's very, very important. The second thing is the alcohol limit, of course. Because about drugs, in a drugs, there are no limit for drugs. There are no tolerance for driving under when you take some drug. No tolerance for drugs. But and for special medical, for legal drugs. I'm not talking only about illegal drugs. I'm talking also about legal drugs from a pharmacy. Ask, can you drive after you use some medicines, some pills? That's important. The next, I've parked the car so I can get out. But the next thing is alcohol. It's 0.5 alcohol limit, but if you drive safely, a police officer can allow you to drive a car if you are below 0.8. So that's very, very important. 0.8 is much higher than in other European countries. So I think it's really good. So we can drink one normal pint of beer, pint of Guinness, pint of Heineken, pint of Bud Light, pint of beer and drive. So after one beer you can drive. So if it will be lower, for example 0.2, it will be extreme zero, no tolerance for alcohol. No, it's 0.5 up to 0.8. If you are a good alcoholic, you can have up to 1.8, 0.8. No 1.8, 0.8. Yeah, 0.8. Dot. Yeah. But you have to always think about you. How do you feel, and is it a right to drive? So I think that was the most important thing about driving a car in Germany. The next thing is that in many cities, for example in Berlin, you can rent a car, and it's really, really cheap. You can rent a car in a special company like Hertz and other rental cars and something like that, in many companies like that. And you can always rent a car on a street. Because there's an automatic car rental system. It's called Car2Go. It's really similar to Zipcar in UK. Car2Go, you have to register on a website. Then you need to fill the form about your name, driver license, something like that, your card number. You need to have a Visa or Mastercard. And then when you do this, you will receive a special code, and then with the code you can go on the street, unlock the car, and all the price and the money will be taken from your credit card. So it's really, really simple and really, really comfortable, because it's much cheaper than using cabs and using Uber. Uber is really, really great, but that is much cheaper. Of course, sometimes if you are completely drunk, you need to take an Uber or public transportation like U-Bahn to go home. But if you want to rent a car, I think Car2Go is really, really great idea.